check out. Always fill in the gaps and let know what so no one can be writing there. You just think about it, whatever it is you got on.
that engaging in these kind of third world adventurisms is immoral, it is insane, it is ludicrous. It makes no sense. And so for the second reason that you and I must call for peace is that we have to transform the world. That we have to talk about evolving a new world order that allows us to see ourselves as human beings and not as cannon fodder. And then finally, to the issue of priorities. And let me try to put that in graphic terms. In 1975, if you took the national wealth of America, which is defined as all of the structures that were built by human beings on the land in the United States, the bridges, the buildings, the personal inventory, corporate inventory, and government resources. You add all that up, in 1975, it was worth $4.3 trillion. If you add up how much America has spent on the military budget from 1946 to 1986, it is roughly 88% of that figure. All right, almost $4 trillion. We will probably spend about that amount of money in 10 years of the 1980s. The national wealth of this country, we could duplicate every single structure on the land in this country with what we anticipate spending on the military budget in 10 years. This is a level of obscenity that is shattering when you consider the resources. We cannot deal with the 10.1% unemployment in America, 20.2% in black America, over 50% among young people building greater weapons of destruction. Studies have been done that indicate that for every $1 billion that we increase the military budget, we actually lose jobs in the general economy. As some have said, that our arms race and our escalated military budget is a crime against the poor. Martin Luther King said, "We are dropping bombs in North Vietnam that are exploding in the ghettos of America." Eloquent, magnificent, powerful statement about the human tragedy of the human priorities. Not only are we killing human beings in some other country, we are killing human beings in our country because we cannot feed them with these weapons. We cannot educate them with these weapons. We do not enhance the quality of their lives with these weapons. Well, we have not detonated a nuclear weapon in a long time. But even a non-detonated nuclear weapon is killing our people. And we all know it. We're killing our children. Studies have been done that point up that many of our children in high percentages believe that they will never achieve adulthood because they think some people in this country and in the world will trigger a nuclear device and that will be the end of it. And the life of children is about the future, the expectation of tomorrow. And to take away tomorrow from the children, to crush their hopes and their dreams and their aspirations, is to kill our own kids. Because to walk around without hopes and without dreams, without aspirations, is to be an ambulatory corpse. And a society that kills its children is a society that's on its way to dying. It's inevitable. A few months ago, when we debated the Armed Services Committee budget, I said publicly that it probably was the loneliest time in my life. Because even though we did all this work and presented an alternative military budget, I said if there were millions of American people who were frightened and angry of the insanity of the arms race, the cruelty of our mentality of war, I did not feel it on the floor of Congress. And that's because we have not focused our energy on the Congress of the United States. And I've been there 12 years, and as one of your student representatives, let me tell you this. If there's any institution in Washington, D.C. that you can turn around, you can damn well turn around the Congress, because they're not strong, capable human beings. The Congress of the United States is a politically finely tuned instrument. It dances. Every time you breathe, it moves. And people keep looking at Washington if it's a collection of highly principled, strong people of great integrity. It's a place where mirrors congregate. And the function of a mirror is to reflect back your image. And politicians like for you not to see them when you look, to see yourselves, because you won't hurt you. You will like you. You will support you. So here's a group of mirrors trying to reflect back. And for too many years in this country, that mirror image has been reflecting back very militaristic, Cold War attitudes, very reactionary perspective. Ron, I agree with you on the military budget, but I can't go home and sell the vote. I agree with you that we are moving toward insanity. We are moving toward a Holocaust. I agree with you we're spending too much money, but I can't go home and sell that vote. So here's a group of people walking in lockstep in ignorance and fear. And it's incredible. So you have to give them strength, because you are the leaders, they are the followers. And once people understand that, they can begin to change. The Congress is capable of voting billions of dollars because, as I said, there's no focus there. There's no pressure, no attention. But this is a real institution spending real dollars, building real weapons that will really blow us off the face of the earth. And so to summarize, we must call for world peace. One, because this planet is in danger from the potential of a nuclear holocaust. It has raised now enormously important moral issues. This is the moral issue of our time. Everything else is a footnote. So let's call for world peace because we must challenge this insanity. Let's call for world peace because we now must talk about evolving a different climate and a different atmosphere in this world. Reject these Cold War notions that have masqueraded as foreign policy, and talk about a foreign policy where world peace is the basis, nuclear arms negotiation is the basis, moving away from more exotic conventional weapons is the basis, human rights, human freedom, human dignity, human development is the basis of our foreign policy, that our problems in the world are social and political and economic, and that if we are insecure, competitive people, then let's work out our insecurities by helping other human beings. And if we want to be competitive with the Soviet Union, then let's compete over who can best address the human misery of the third world. And finally, to a rational set of priorities that speak to peace. Peace is a terribly important issue. It will be the focus of the 1980s. And in my humble opinion, this is now the opportunity to resolve a myriad human problems that impinge upon the peace, that threaten the security, that create a mentality of violence and war. And let's bring together that human coalition of people who understand the madness of nuclear weapons, people who understand the cruelty of an interventionist, militaristic foreign policy, and people who are being crushed by the burden of billions of dollars going to build weapons and not build the quality of life. I join you in the struggle for peace, and thank you very much.
The perils we face require that all of us call for a renewed and passionate commitment to peace. From the nation's capital, Congressman Dellums talked about what we can do as citizens to make the world safe.
I've tried to lay out a number of issues for you. The signs are ominous. The situation is extremely dangerous. You must become involved. I'm suggesting to you in no uncertain terms that you try to have as much impact as you possibly can on the body politic by not only challenging my colleagues, but getting involved in the educative process, by becoming activists and protesting and demonstrating against this insanity. Politicians, for the most part, are not leaders, they're followers. You're the leaders. And when you decide that the world is ready for peace and that the world is not ready for more armaments and the world is not ready for more bloated and wasteful and frightening and dangerous military budgets, then the body politic will respond. You've got to get involved. Your voice has to be heard. We've got to save this planet for ourselves and for our children and for our children's children.